The epic tale of Troy, love, war, and divine intervention. In ancient times, when gods and men walked side by side and the fates of mortals were often shaped by divine hands, there was a city known as Troy, a place of great beauty and grandeur, nestled along the windswept shores of the Aegean Sea. Its walls were said to be unbreakable, its people proud and noble, ruled by the wise and venerable King Priam. Far away in Sparta, there ruled a mighty king, Menelaus, whose queen, the incomparable Helen, was renowned for her beauty. The story of Helen's beauty spread far and wide, and it was said that many suitors sought her hand. But Menelaus, a man of fierce loyalty and honor, was the one who won her love. Their union was celebrated as one of the greatest in the land, and their love, though tempered by the shadows of the gods, seemed unbreakable. Yet a storm brewed on the horizon of this peaceful world, a storm not of nature, but of the hearts of men. Paris, a young and handsome prince of Troy, came to the court of Sparta, seeking refuge from the rage of the gods. As Paris and Helen gazed upon one another, a spark, an undeniable, forbidden spark, was kindled between them. In secret, the two lovers plotted, and one fateful night, Helen left with Paris, leaving behind her husband and her kingdom. The winds of destiny blew hard against the shores of Sparta, for when Menelaus discovered the betrayal, his fury knew no bounds. With his brother Agamemnon, the mighty king of Mycenae, he called upon the oaths sworn by all the kings and princes of Greece, a vow made long ago to defend Helen's honor should she ever be taken from him. Thus, the flames of war were kindled, and a great alliance of Greek kings and warriors set sail to lay siege to the city of Troy, to bring back Helen and avenge the dishonor done to their comrade. And so the Greeks arrived at the shores of Troy, their ships filling the horizon like a sea of steel and fire. But the city of Troy, fortified by the skill of its builders and the strength of its warriors, was not easily broken. Hector, the noble prince of Troy, led his people with courage and wisdom, standing against the Greeks with the heart of a lion. But it was the Greeks' greatest warrior, Achilles, who became the true heart of the conflict. Tall, proud, and fierce, Achilles was the son of Thetis, a sea goddess, and his strength was said to be unmatched. Yet despite his power, Achilles' heart was a troubled one. He fought for honor, but he was a man of pride, and pride would be his undoing. From the very beginning of the war, Achilles and Agamemnon, the leader of the Greek forces, clashed. For Agamemnon had taken a prize, a captive woman named Briseis, from Achilles' tent, and Achilles, in his fury, withdrew from the war, refusing to fight. His absence was felt deeply, for without Achilles the Greeks began to falter. But war is a cruel mistress, and soon the Greeks found themselves on the brink of defeat. It was only when Achilles' beloved companion, Patroclus, disguised himself in Achilles' armor and entered the fray in his stead that the tide of battle seemed to turn. Yet fate's threads wove a cruel pattern, and Hector, the noblest of the Trojans, struck down Patroclus in a moment of heartbreaking tragedy. The grief-stricken Achilles, his heart torn with sorrow and rage, could no longer stand by. He re-entered the battle, his fury like a storm upon the earth. He hunted Hector, and in the end, Achilles met the Trojan prince on the field of battle. The duel between them was one for the ages, a clash of titans, but it was Achilles who emerged victorious, slaying Hector in the name of vengeance for his fallen friend. But even in victory, Achilles found no peace. For Hector's father, King Priam, in an act of nobility and courage, ventured into the Greek camp, seeking the body of his son. Achilles, moved by the old king's grief, returned Hector's body, giving him a hero's burial. And yet the war continued, the flames of vengeance growing ever higher. As the years passed, Both the Greeks and Trojans suffered greatly, and the gods themselves watched with both amusement and sorrow. But it was the cunning of the Greek warrior Odysseus that would eventually tip the scales in favor of the Greeks. It was he who conceived the brilliant plan of the Trojan horse, a massive wooden beast filled with Greek soldiers hidden inside. The Trojans, believing they had won, brought the horse into their city as a gift from the gods. That night, the Greeks emerged from the horse, and Troy was undone. The fall of Troy was a tragedy like no other. The city that had stood for so long, proud and unyielding, was reduced to ashes. King Priam was slain, and the beautiful city fell beneath the weight of betrayal, pride, and greed. Helen, too, was taken by the Greeks, but her heart, heavy with the knowledge of the destruction she had caused, knew no peace. And thus, the Trojan War ended, but its legacy lived on. It was a tale that the bards would sing for generations, of love and vengeance, of gods and men, and of the price that is paid when pride and passion collide. The great heroes, Achilles, Hector, Odysseus, and Paris, would be remembered forever, not as mere warriors, but as symbols of the fragility of glory and the eternal cost of war. And as the smoke of Troy's burning towers rose to the heavens, the gods looked down, knowing that such tales, filled with both triumph and tragedy, would live on in the hearts of men long after the walls of Troy had fallen silent.